vitamins, and you need to check them out.
Emmett's talking about QC Kinetics, exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics for regenerative talking about QC Kinetics with exciting new natural biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. New options now available here.
You can encourage your body to actually heal itself with the help of QC Kinetics.
Real relief with no surgery.
Call today, 333-9517.
Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, it's real and it matters. Anxious, sad, numb, lonely, frustrated, or empty. Whether you're dealing with bullying or feeling depressed, you don't have to do it alone. If you or someone you know needs support, reaching out for help is a strong thing to do. Text START to 741-741 to reach a volunteer crisis counselor at Crisis Text Line. It's 24/7, free and private. Help is just a text away.
I'm starting the new year by making my home feel like new with the advanced clean of Zero Res. Take advantage of their New Year sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. And when you mention ESPN Asheville, you'll get a hallway clean for free. Schedule online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield will miss the regular season finale Sunday versus the Bengals so he can move forward with surgery to repair the torn labrum in his left shoulder. Coach Kevin Stefanski said the surgery could happen as soon as this week. Mayfield under contract with Cleveland through 2022. He should not, however, be in the Browns' long-term plans because they can't win a Super Bowl with him, believes ESPN's Marcus Spears.
Y'all know how I feel about Baker. I think Baker's a very average quarterback. And I hope that I'm not ruffling feathers or breaking any. I think he's just an average quarterback that you can kind of sustain with. Not somebody that's going to really push you over the top. He'll have his moments, but we in year 5 and we still don't know if he's the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. That should tell you what you need to know.
Titans outside linebacker Bud Dupree has been charged with misdemeanor assault after an altercation with an employee at a Walgreens in Nashville Sunday night. Titans said in a statement they're aware of the situation and are gathering information. Suns coach Monty Williams cleared from NBA COVID protocols for tonight's game against the Pelicans. He's missed the last 4 games.
It's Keith from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, hoping you're spending as much time with your wonderful family as possible. When the calendar turns to 2022, we'll be right here talking about the NFL playoff picture. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy, the maiden voyage of 2022. Happy New Year to all here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And, of course, you can get in on the program. Watch us live here in the studio at thesportsocracy.com. Check out the YouTube feed. Hit that subscribe button. Get into the House of Reprehensibles. You subscribe, you get into the chat, you can join the House of Reprehensibles, and you can do the super chats, all that kind of stuff. It's a brand new year. We've got a third in the studio now. We have a third in the studio, HWA, Hot Wife Amy. She is now joining us for the 2022 ride here, and she'll be monitoring the chat all throughout the year here. And we will bring her in every now and then. You'll hear this. And that means it's going to be comment time with HWA. It's going to be streamlining all the things here in the Sportsocracy. What a start to the year it has already been. We got the college football playoff. The national championship is all set. The Georgia Bulldogs getting ready to take on the man who made the deal with the devil.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, it's going to be heard so many times over the course of the next, 8 days?
Right. We got playoff spots clinched in the NFL. Who's still a threat? Who's not a threat? We've got Jeremy believes that he has unlocked the breakthrough of the century in the NFL. Obviously being hyperbolic on that, but Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, the biggest draft bust in the last 14 years in the NFL?
Yeah, I had to go 14 years because somebody on social media last night pointed out that Jamarcus Russell was 15 years ago.
You're right.
And I'm going to be really honest. I cannot get past the guy that took home tapes and went, yeah, it was really informative. And they had nothing on them. I can't get past that.
So since Jamarcus Russell, Baker Mayfield's the biggest bust in the NFL draft. And we'll get into that in the second hour.
And we will, and that's ahead of tomorrow's release of my top 13 quarterbacks in the 2022 NFL draft. Got some names that are some smaller school guys. This is a little bit different of a draft class than I'm used to because there's not really a no doubt one.
Right.
This is a bad year to need a quarterback.
We got all the playoff spots locked up in the NFL except for 3. There's only 3 spots left that can still shuffle. I mean, there are things that can happen to make that dark horse team come out of nowhere to make the playoffs, but it's really not believable at this point, is it? I mean,
no.
The one thing in the AFC that still gives the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers all hope. Well, you take Vegas out of that because if Vegas wins straight up against the Los Angeles Chargers, they're in.
Vegas and the Chargers, the winner's in.
Which is going to be a fantastic game. The others, though, they need Indianapolis to lose at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't know about that.
Which you might as well just say they need what can only be described as an act of God.
Because
that's what that would take.
But it's been 7 years since Indianapolis won in Jacksonville. Which is odd to believe. I mean, I heard it and I went, that can't be. Yeah, I guess it is.
I don't care if it's been 700 years since they won in Jacksonville. That team is disgustingly bad.
Yeah, they really don't have much of a shot at pulling the upset this week. Indianapolis has got the playoff spot on the line. All you got to do is go in and beat down a team that just lost by 40 to the New England Patriots. So I feel like your chances are pretty good.
The more realistic of the playoff scenarios is somehow the New Orleans Saints have about a 40% chance of making the playoffs.
I would say it's
unbelievable.
A little higher than that.
I
would say it's higher than that. Come on, you got to have the San Francisco 49ers with Trey Lance go in and beat the LA Rams this week. And I don't like the chances of that happening. And the New Orleans Saints are matched up with the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like fortune is on the side of Sean Payton in this one.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't think there's that big of a difference between the Saints and the Falcons. The one difference is one of them can stop a lot of people,
right,
and the other one can stop virtually no one.
Right. It is the most plausible of the outside chances, in my opinion. I believe the Chargers are going to come in and take care of business against the Raiders. I believe the Colts will take care of business against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The one that I'm looking at going, this could shake things up, it is that San Francisco game and the fact that New Orleans has a free space on the board, so to speak.
Without a doubt, my favorite potential outcome. The Indianapolis Colts lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Raiders and the Chargers tie. They just look at each other and go, let's just both make it. All right, go away Pittsburgh, go away Baltimore. Let's just tie. No big deal.
But then if that happens, then does not the winner?
The Raiders and the Chargers.
So the winner of
there is no possible way the Ravens or the Steelers can make it in if the Chargers and the Raiders tie.
Okay.
So if you had and now granted, I'm being conspiracy theory tinfoil hat on my head guy.
Right.
But, I mean, there's a little part of me that just goes, man, that'd be good. That'd just be so good.
So you're just rooting for chaos at this point.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, we've got everything else is pretty, has been It's been a little hectic for some teams, like the Buffalo Bills. You didn't know how that was going to shake out the last few weeks of the season, but
yeah, now they're going to win the AFC East.
But now they're going to win.
As we told you they were going to before the year. Was it a little clunky? Did we have some moments where we looked around and went, uh-oh? Yeah. But now all's been settled with the world, and the Bills are going to win the division, and New England is going to get throttled by somebody in the playoffs.
Even if it's the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah. I don't like the chances of New England going on the road and beating anybody.
Okay. And I can understand that.
I mean,
they have offensive limitations.
Yeah, you can go beat the Jets by 40, but, that's not exactly saying a lot.
And then over in the NFC, obviously, you got we haven't even mentioned the number 1 seed in the AFC, the Tennessee Titans. Who saw that coming? I sure didn't.
You can be complete dog water for a month and still end up as the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Look, all you got to do is play some good defense down the stretch, and your offense has to be just good enough to win you some games, and that's where Tennessee has found themselves, and they've basically just backed into the number 1 seed.
And
it's not a done deal that they're going to get it, but come on, they got to play the Texans this week.
And we buried the lead. I mean, this is for one time that I'll actually hit this button.
Fire them cannons. Put more powder in those.
Yeah, you feel great about that?
Yeah, that's a win. That's a comeback win. Chalk that one up.
Against the Jets. It took Tom Terrific being Tom Terrific for you to beat the Jets.
I didn't see the Tennessee Titans beat the Jets this year.
Well, they also had no receivers, but for a completely different reason.
Exactly.
They didn't have one, kind of go off the rails and start throwing his equipment into the stands.
It's so bizarre. So bizarre. And we should have known.
Is it, though?
We should have known.
We keep saying, it's so bizarre that Antonio Brown. And I've heard all of these.
It is. You never thought that was going to happen in a million years.
This is the same person that almost froze his toes off with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
No, this didn't surprise me at all. Did you remember he actually played for the Bills?
Wait, what?
I was shocked how many people forgot that he was traded to the Buffalo Bills, and he went, mm-mm.
I don't even remember that.
No, sir. It was either before the Raiders or the Raiders sent him to the Bills and the Bills had to cut him. Or it got rescinded or one way or the other.
I remember him going to the Patriots.
He was a Buffalo Bill for like 15 seconds.
I remember him going to the Patriots. I do not remember him being a Bill at any point.
It happened.
But he never went to camp. He never got in a uniform, none of that stuff.
No.
Okay. That's why I have no recollection of that. But yeah, the freezing his feet, I get it. The attacking of the moving driver, the sexual assault claims against him, the fact that the whole story from last year of he's going to be okay, and then he had the fit right before the season started in his neighborhood over somebody parking a bicycle next to his house. I don't even remember what it was.
There is nothing that Antonio Brown could do where I would go, wow, that just really baffles me. Right. I am surprised that that's something Antonio Brown did.
People are breaking down the chronology of the life of Antonio Brown in the NFL. The one thing we can all agree on is this is over.
Oh, yeah.
There is not another coach, GM, team, whoever is going to look at him and go, yeah, that's worth it.
I would love to hear how you sold that.
If he walked out on Tom Brady in a run to a Super Bowl, what makes you think he's going to be an asset to your team?
And I absolutely loved the conspiracy theories of, they weren't going to let him hit his incentives.
No, that never
You do
happened.
remember how he hit the same incentives last year, right? And somehow I've yet to hear anybody say, well, if you hadn't presented a fake vaccination card and gotten suspended, none of that would matter.
True.
You do remember they force-fed him the ball in the last game of the year last year in a completely meaningless game.
Oh, yeah.
To hit the incentive.
And they were going to do it again.
Absolutely.
Bruce Arians told him to go in the game twice. And he refused, and he said, well, then get out of here. If you're not going to go in the game.
Hurt. Oh, he was too hurt. He was not too hurt to play in the first half.
No.
Did you notice that? That's the part of that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Nothing happened. But then all of a sudden in the third quarter, you're too hurt as you're sitting there with your arms crossed, petulantly looking at everyone on the sideline.
Right.
I have no idea what happened in his head.
It's
not my job to know, and frankly, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't really care.
Right.
That's between you and whoever else.
Right. Was he sitting here thinking, God, we're losing to the Jets, I don't want to go back into this game? I don't know what he was thinking. It doesn't matter what he was thinking.
But then you leave the stadium and you do a fun little TikTok, Instagram video with
the Uber driver?
Whoever the Uber driver was. who's apparently a social media influencer.
Of course
That's
he
a
is.
term that I just absolutely despise.
Of course he is.
But then you drop a single like 4 hours later. It's like, look, I don't know what's going on in your head, but if you're trying to tell me the team was the bad guy,
right,
you are doing a terrible job of making it look that way.
Mm-hmm. And then to hear all the responses of all of the Tampa Bay players who were like, we tried to talk him down. We tried to make sense of it all. Tom was out there after the game was over, just like, he needs help. He needs more help than I can give him, because I held his hand all year last year. He didn't say all this, but I mean, this is what is going through his mind. Remember, he moved Antonio Brown into his house last year so he could keep an eye on him, so he could make sure that he was showing up to practices and all that kind of stuff. I don't know when that stopped, but apparently it stopped in this past offseason as he was just started going out and making Antonio Brown decisions again. Let's get the fake vaccination card. Let's, that puts you on thin ice anyway, and then they bring you back and try to put you in a game, and you say, no, I'm not going into the game. What did you think Bruce Arians' response to that was going to be? Oh, okay, you just go sit over there. You'll be fine. No, Bruce Arians has always been the guy, like, you ain't going to do what I tell you to, then GTFO. Let's go.
Pound sand.
And he did. And Bruce got what he wanted.
But now you have a bigger problem.
There's a huge problem.
You look at the receiving core and go, man, that looked really good at the start of the year, and now not so much.
Well, now it's Mike Evans. You got the superstar. You still have more weapons now or as many weapons now as you ever did when you were in New England, Tom. So
yeah, but the problem is your defense is nowhere near.
No.
You just let Zach Wilson make you look goofy for 55 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
There's serious problems.
This as a Jets fan. I have to say this: if the reason that we ran a 2.5-yard quarterback sneak on 4th down is because there was a miscommunication on the sideline, somebody needs a stern talking to about how we talk to our quarterback.
Right?
Okay.
I was kind of put off by that.
He could have drop kicked that thing, and I swear to you, it would have been less upsetting to me than Zach Wilson coming to the line and going, there's only 3 linemen. I think I'm going to make a break for it.
Yeah.
I saw as soon as he did it, I went, I know how this ends. I've read this book. I've read this book way too many times.
You have. And that's the one thing that you can always say about a team that has Tom Brady on it. Doesn't matter how much time's left on the clock. If he's behind the 8 ball, he's gonna do his damnedest to make some magic happen. And that's what happened against your Jets. You could slot any team in there, and I would not be surprised by the outcome. You could have slotted the Green Bay Packers in there, and it wouldn't be shocking.
Green Bay. Sorry, this is your season-long sliding of the Green Bay Packers has finally come to roost.
Season-long sliding? What are you talking about?
Fact or fiction? You said they couldn't win a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, I did say that.
There you go. It's all the sliding I need.
I did say that.
And now it has come home to roost.
No, they ain't done it yet.
Yeah, but
they ain't done it yet.
The whole NFC playoffs go through Green Bay. In the frozen tundra.
Like they did last year.
Yeah, that defense wasn't like it is now.
Oh, I don't disagree with you.
Was nowhere near what it is now.
They are the most frightening team in the NFL right now.
I said this morning, if you gave me 3 teams, I'll give you the field.
Mm-hmm.
You give me the Green Bay Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills. I'll give you the field. You can have it.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I'm sure a lot of people go, but Buffalo. Look at the field in the AFC. I have one of the only quarterbacks that has gotten to the crest of the mountaintop and never gotten over it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you give me Joe Burrow all you want to, but the next playoff game for him will be the first one.
Yes.
And yes, the offense is electric. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick a quarterback in the NFL right now, it's Joe Burrow, and I don't think it's all that close. I've heard a lot of Justin Herbert. I got news for you. You give me one or the other, I'll take Joe Burrow 100 times out of 100.
I think Herbert's 2, though. I think Herbert's 2 on that list.
If you start factoring in the money, you still got to get to Pat Mahomes at some point.
Well,
he's a year older than these guys.
Yeah, I mean he's right there, obviously, but he's already got the check. I mean, he's already got the $50 million due to him, and
that's fine. Joe's is in escrow right now. It's just waiting. It's almost like a trust fund for Joe Burrow right now. All you have to do is be available to pick up the check on your 26th birthday.
Right.
And it is yours.
It was a fantastic week in the NFL, as we still have some drama coming down to next week. Obviously, there are some matchups that you don't really, like the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not particularly going to be a fun game to watch unless you're a Colts fan. But there is intrigue in every game save for 2 next week. So I feel like...
Oh, no, there's really not. There are plenty of games that no one cares.
No one cares.
Basically everything involving the NFC North. Really anything involving the NFC East. I don't really care.
You got Minnesota, Chicago next week.
If they played that game in my backyard, I would move.
You got the Giants and the football team. Those are the only 2 games that don't include a playoff team or some kind of seeding is going to be on the line in the game.
That's a weird way to say Jets-Bills. I've never heard anybody say Jets-Bills that way.
No, because even that has intrigue, because if the Bills don't win... If the Jets show up and pull some kind of a shocker...
If the Jets win that game, it's because Buffalo's plane went to the wrong stadium. That is the only explanation for that.
If it happened, we've seen this year, weird things have happened each and every week that are unexplainable.
You could tell me the Jets were allowed to play 15 players at a time. I would still take Buffalo minus 12.5.
And if New England beat Miami and somehow the Jets were to upset the Buffalo Bills, then... New England wins the division, and the Bills fall back into the wild card games. I mean,
this is all I need this week.
Yeah,
I need the Jets to lose to the Bills. I need the Sea Chickens to lose to the Cardinals. If those 2 things happen, we got 2 top 7 picks for a draft that we're going to be at in Las Vegas.
All eyes are on the draft for Mr. Jeremy Greene and his New York Jets, who have that's their only hope at this point, is to improve the draft stock. Of course, we'll have draft content coming your way this week. The Ingles shopping lists for each and every team are going to be coming out on the YouTube channel. You want to make sure you subscribe to that so you get all of that content as it comes out. So be sure to go right now to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm Tank Spencer, Jeremy Green's alongside, and we'll be right back here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Boy, after a wild start to the work week weather-wise, things kind of settle down here into the midweek forecast. Got some light rain showing up by Thursday, and then another blast of cold coming in late week with more teens and 20s Thursday night and Friday night. Our low tonight, 29 degrees, mostly cloudy Wednesday, a little warmer, high 48, and then colder on Thursday with some rain showers, 45, low Thursday night, 16. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has all the tools you need to start the year off strong. Right now, get 40% back in a Staples Store bonus when you buy any 2 ink or toner cartridges in-store only. Offer ends 1/15. See staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details. Staples, the working and learning store.
If your New Year's resolution includes getting into shape, make step 1 downloading the free iHeartRadio app. Whether your goal is balancing mind and body or ramping up the intensity to beast mode, we've got the music to get you moving and keep you motivated with dozens of specially curated workout playlists, from rock pump up to yoga music. Just put your headphones on and tap playlists to get started on reaching your goals. iHeart. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio. With the Peloton bike, there's always something new to try. We're adding new music to our artist series, new disciplines like boxing.
Fight your way.
Only available in continental U.S. Terms apply.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
At Ingles, we know the ever-present struggle of, what am I going to make for dinner this week? That's why we started the Ingles Table. It's all waiting for you at ingles-markets.com. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Prego pasta sauce, 3 for $5. Select 7 to 12 ounce board and cheese, 3 for $5. And select sizes and varieties Post cereal, buy one, get one free. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumping a bag of hammers.
It's ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And, of course, the Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The first hour of the program is still and always brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. Yes, look for those Ingles shopping list videos, the NFL draft content coming out on the Sportsocracy YouTube channel
this is
week.
My Christmas.
Yeah.
I have 7 days until Drafty Claus just comes and lays presents at the base of my Draftmas tree.
My dad looked at me the other day. He was like, "It's been a crazy football season. Are you glad that it's almost over?" And I went, "Oh, I think it's cute that you think it's that this is over for me."
That fat guy that I do this with.
No, football season never ends in the Sportsocracy, and actually, this is this is the shopping season. This is when we get all of the things that we need to make next year successful. So the draft content going to start hot and heavy this week with the Ingles shopping list. Oh, by the way, Jeremy, he saw a movie. And who's shocked? Who's shocked? Jeremy says it sucks.
It wasn't just bad. There are a lot of movies are bad.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to be really honest with you. The vast majority of movies are bad.
Yes.
This movie was categorically horrid. And then I found out a couple things about this movie that made it even worse to me.
Okay.
The movie that I am referring to is Don't Look Up. You can currently find it on Netflix. It's got Meryl Streep, who I am reasonably sure is playing a caricature of a former president. You can deduce from that what you want to.
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence.
Jonah Hill in it?
Yeah, Jonah Hill's in it. For the first hour, I thought, okay, this is funny.
Yeah.
Because Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence play astronomers, and they find a comet that is headed for Earth, and 6 months and like 12 days from then, it's going to hit the Earth, and it's going to destroy life on Earth as we know it.
Right.
So they wind up at the White House to tell President Meryl Streep this, and she doesn't care. At all. This happens a lot. I did find it funny that they were from Michigan State, and she went, "We're gonna ask the Ivy League people."
Oh,
that was the best part
great
of the movie.
dig.
That part was funny to me.
Right.
But it's like a political commentary on climate change and all these things. And as it's going along, my opinion shifted.
See, I
thought it was very funny at first.
Yeah.
Because basically half the world is completely acting like this isn't happening, and the other half of the world is going full on Stuart Little, like the sky's falling.
So like coronavirus.
You said that, not me.
I mean, because that's what I thought. That's what I thought the whole goal of this movie was, to make it to point out the idiocracy of the other side and the coronavirus thing.
And there was certainly some of that,
right?
And I do believe that was part of the intention, but towards the end it got very political commentary, which, you know, you can make, as I said this morning, we don't do politics, we just make jokes at the expense of many politicians.
Right.
There's a difference. We don't talk about political things, but we can make jokes. Here's the other thing that just dumbfounded me.
Mm-hmm.
Its Rotten Tomato score is a 56, which means 56% of people are absolutely out of their minds.
56% of the people are on the other side of everybody who doesn't believe in science is an idiot. That's the whole idea of the movie.
But that's not really
I mean, I haven't even seen it.
If you read the ratings and things like that, that's not really how it went.
Oh, okay.
That was about 40% of it. Then there's another 16% that I can't figure out. Like, did we watch the same thing? Because this was genuinely terrible.
Yeah.
Except for the fact of, if a comet was coming to Earth, I'm reasonably sure that's exactly how it would go. 50% of the Earth would just go, what are we going to do? And the other half would go, that doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
It's not even real. I can't see it. It doesn't exist.
Right. Until I could see the ball of flames in the night sky, I'm not going to feel.
And Ariana Grande is in it, and Tyler Perry. There were some funny cameos in it.
Right.
Other than that, it was just, and it was super long. I want to start a legislative action that no movie is longer than 2 hours.
Right.
Ever. There is no movie that needs to be that long. We had one. It was called Braveheart, and we've already done it.
And Titanic. Titanic was another one.
I never saw it. I can't.
Your wife, by the way, is baffled.
I read the book. It's called a history book. I know
I read the book. I read the book.
I don't really like historical epics because I know exactly how it ends.
You don't know how it ends?
Let me guess. I've never seen it. Spoilers from 23 years ago. I bet they hit a big block of ice and the boat sinks.
Yep. But you don't know what happens to the characters. It's a whole other story inside the thing. So,
I don't care what happens to the characters. They're made up and they're not real.
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump was one of the greatest movies of all time, and it was over 2 hours long.
Okay, there have been two movies. One was called Braveheart and one was called Forrest Gump. No more. We do not need any more movies that are that long.
No, I saw the ads for Don't Look Up all through the break, and I went, you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm just not gonna, because I don't care enough. Now, if I start hearing things from other people like, oh my God, it's the funniest thing ever, okay, then maybe I'll check it out. So far, all I've heard is the exact same thing you just said.
Yep.
From everyone who's seen it. So I'm going to be out on that one. I'm going to say I'm good.
By the end of it,
I spent the majority of my TV watching time over the break, not only on football, but watching the Get Back thing on Disney Plus about the Beatles and them making the Get Back album. It was wonderful.
I'm going to ask a question.
Yep.
And this might elicit Brian Hall to come screaming down the hall to throw something at me. What's the Get Up album?
Get Back.
Get Back.
Yeah, Get Back.
Get Back. Well,
yeah.
The only Get Back I know about is the coach that held Brent Venables at Clemson. So I have, and I'm not making that. I have genuinely no idea what you're talking about.
It was the last album that they made.
Did that have Yellow Submarine on it?
No.
That's the only Beatles song I know. It's the only one.
Gosh.
If you brought in 1,000 cash and you said for every Beatles song you name, you can have one stack of this, I would get exactly one band because I would say Yellow Submarine and I'm done.
That's so sad.
I never got
It's the most influential rock group in the history of music.
I don't know if I can agree with that.
It's undoubted. You can't argue with that.
I could argue with anything I want to. I would say that they are certainly in the top three, and they would be right there with the Rolling Stones and Creed. That's
Creed. Stop it.
I mean, Creed was an incredibly influential band.
First off, the Beatles, way better than the Rolling Stones. Second off, I mean, they didn't have much for longevity, but...
Yeah, it was all bad.
I mean, hey, we had what, 10 years of the Beatles? We only knew about them for 6, and they created some of the most memorable songs in history. Of course, they're the greatest band of all time.
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Oh, my gosh.
I think stride for stride, Creed could just hang with them. Higher, arms wide open.
Yellow Submarine. I mean, come on.
Here's the thing. I can name more Creed songs than I can Beatles songs, and it's not even close.
Which is super disturbing.
It's like
and you should
10-1.
reassess everything that you know about music. Really. Honestly. That's just, it's pitiful. We're moving on. You're going to make me mad.
The Sports Tag.
Just a bit outside.
All right, here's the 411, folks.
I mean, I'm sorry. I've had enough of this holiday sharing with your friends and family that ruins relationships. We've done that 3 times in my family so far in the last month and a half, and I'm not interested in going further down that path. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that it seems like this whole shutdown in social media has ruined everything?
Social media has ruined everything in my life.
Good Lord.
Well, not everything in my life, but it's really made me question. I still maintain if the world was like Twitter, we would just walk around with baseball bats and hit people.
Yeah, I'm just sick of having the same arguments over and over and over and over again.
That's
and
why
that
I tried to
takes
give
me...
you a new argument. Creed is better than the
No,
Beatles.
you're not. Stop that. Which leads me into something that Cooper Kupp said. So they asked Cooper Kupp, you're knocking on the door of history here. You're only 11 catches and 145 yards away from breaking 2 records that we thought, it's going to be hard to beat those. Obviously, Michael Thomas's reception record and Calvin Johnson's receiving yards record from, 2013 or whatever it is. So he says... the age-old thing that, guys who get more time to break records than than the past generations do. Maybe we should have separate records. It's not really fair to me to, for me to have an extra game and they didn't have the extra game. And so how could I have the record, but they did it in fewer games? Like, didn't we settle this like back in 1994, I believe it was, when we finally got rid of the asterisk on the 1961 home run record by Roger Maris? Like, eventually we were able to drop that. I think we're past that now. Cooper Kupp, I understand what you're trying to like that's the thing you have to say. He's saying the politically correct thing there of, well, I can't say that my season has been better than Calvin Johnson's because I get an extra game to break the record, but maybe separate records. Please, let's not do this.
Why do we have to do the baseball thing where we have to?
Right.
First of all, who cares about the records?
I don't know. I mean, I guess some people hold that dear.
I have watched.
It's the only thing the Detroit Lions have been able to celebrate since Truman was president. So
I have watched all kinds of Cooper Kupp this year, and I'll be honest with you, until over the weekend, I had no idea who was that close to Calvin Johnson.
Right.
Because their seasons don't look the same to me. Calvin Johnson was literally unguardable. Cooper Kupp's been great, don't get me wrong. But it's been a lot of, hey, look, I slipped out of the backfield and everybody forgot about me. And here I am just waiting on the ball to boop.
Yep. I mean, it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue with the kind of season that Cooper Kupp is having. I never thought he was capable of this.
No.
Never. Especially after the Robert Woods injury, and then he became the only guy to be afraid of for the longest time. I mean, Odell didn't become a thing until the last couple of weeks, or that you were scared of anyway. And still, Cooper Kupp has gone out there and done his job and gotten it done. And, I don't think he would have done this with Matthew Stafford, or would have done this with Jared Goff. You got to give Matthew Stafford some credit for this as well.
Oh, absolutely.
But if he breaks the record, he breaks the record. Let's see him go out there and do it. Then we can have the discussion. And you know what? At the end of the day, the discussion is going to be, he's got the record.
Yeah,
season's a season. It doesn't matter.
I do find it funny that Derrick Henry hasn't played a game in 6 weeks.
Uh-huh.
He still has more yards and touchdowns than Ezekiel Elliott. It's my favorite stat that I saw over the weekend.
Oh,
no, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, they got problems. We'll talk about that in a little while. All right, so what's your just a bit outside?
Speaking of teams in the NFC East, we officially have a date.
Okay.
That they will no longer be the Washington football team.
Oh, thank
February the 2nd, just 1 month from now, they will no longer be the Washington football team.
You don't know that.
They're not going to be the football team. Stop that.
You don't know that.
If they are, I protest.
The Washington football team. That is one of the finalist names.
I will call them the Washington Red Barons and change their logo to the pizza logo. I don't care. I'm not calling you the football team. This is not soccer. We don't do that here. Okay?
I agree.
Pick a logo and stick with it.
I agree.
I think most of the options are terrible. The Commanders.
What are you pulling for, though? Come on, you got to have a favorite in the clubhouse.
Something off the board.
You know that it's going to come from the list. You got to have something. You got to have a favorite.
No, they're all bad. I hope they go completely off the board and they call themselves the Washington Jason Stathams.
Okay.
Or something equally stupid, because that's how dumb I think every option is.
I've zeroed in on the Brigade. I think the Washington Brigade, that needs to be the one.
That's awful.
It's the best one out of the bunch. I don't want the Red Hawks or what are the other ones?
The Red Hawks, the Admirals, the Commanders, the Presidents.
The Presidents is bad.
The Presidents is terrible.
Don't do that.
The Presidents is terrible.
You got the Washington football team, the one that they have checked off. They have said it's not going to happen. Is the Red Wolves
and the Red Wolves?
Yeah.
There's a trademark issue with that.
Yeah. So they're not going to do the Wolves or the Red Wolves. So now it's down to the Brigade and the Armada. That was one. The Washington Armada.
That's a terrible name.
Brigade is way better, in my opinion.
They're all equally bad.
Yeah, but I hope they choose something and not football team.
This is like Beatles songs, all equally bad.
Although I will tell you, over the we were watching football last night, and I don't even remember what we were talking about, but my wife actually answered a trivia question in the affirmative, and I said, "And who did he play for?" And she goes, "The Washington football team." And I went, "Oh, you even said it like all, PC and stuff. I'm so proud of you." It's just growing pains in our relationships. It's becoming better. I love it when you can strive for better. So February the 2nd is the day that we will have the announcement.
And we will no longer have to call them the Washington football team.
I hope not.
Which really irritates me because I have to save all of the things that we do. And so I have all 31 team names, and then I get to the football team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too long, and it's annoying, and just, okay, you need a name. They released part of the jersey, too. Hey, guess what? You know what it looks like?
The one they wear now?
Exactly what it's looked like for 40 years.
Oh, it's just a clean look. It's got the numbers and the sleek lines, and it's the same
and it
colors.
has some
like
stars.
Woo! Oh gosh, it's got stars on it.
Yeah, it's got stars on the collar.
Oh no!
Yeah, have you not seen the Doug Williams video where they show these 3 still frames that they cut across, and they give you the color combination.
Mm-hmm.
They show you the
which
numbers.
We knew wasn't going to change.
No, they show you the sleeve, which has the stripe on it, which you knew wasn't going to change.
Right.
And then the breaking news: there's stars on the collar.
Well, that leads me to believe that they have chosen one of the patriotic / military names.
You know what they won't be, since there's stars on the collar?
What?
The Washington Beatles.
Gosh, the Washington Beatles. You, my friend, have gone crazy, and you have come up with a new segment here on the show. Do you want to explain it before we get into it?
So it's in the 4 o'clock hour, but yes, I can explain it.
Yeah.
It's the name of the segment is going to be I Got 5 on It. First of all, that's my favorite song of all time.
Right.
So I've been looking for 2 years for some way to shoehorn that into this show to make it a daily thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finally found a way to do it.
Nice.
The way this is going to roll is that this is going to be a gambling segment. All right, so we already have Greene on Greene in the 3 o'clock hour, which, as always, it will be here to finish this hour, this particular episode.
Yes.
But in the 4 o'clock hour, I'm going to give you a handful of things that I would wager on. It could range from over-unders, lines, money lines, whatever the case may be. And the objective of this is going to be that I'm going to take my $500 of fictitious, not real doll hairs, and I'm going to turn it into $5,000. It's almost like a confidence thing.
Okay.
Because I looked back at my record last year, and yeah, I was, 60 games over 500.
Right.
No big deal. But I had a lot of very good hits and not a lot of horrible losses. So I went, we got to do something that encompasses how confident I am on things.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do some off-the-wall things. There'll be some over-unders. There'll be some prop bets.
Nice.
We haven't done a lot of props. Before this, I didn't do a lot of prop bets.
Right.
BetUs.com, who is one of the official sponsors of the show, they have a ton of those.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of the holiday, I started looking at them going, some of these are not overly difficult to hit. Ben Roethlisberger passing yards last night. Had we done a show yesterday, that would have been one of. Do you know what his over-under was last night?
No.
242.5.
Okay.
Cleveland could have gone home in the third quarter. I still don't think he would have thrown for 242.5.
Right.
So it'll just be a combination of those things. It'll be a lot of fun, and the objective is going to be that I take 500 fictitious doll hairs and turn them into 5,000.
And that's going to be coming up at 4:40 every weekday afternoon here on ESPN Asheville in the Sportsocracy. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Speaking of Ben Roethlisberger, let's talk about him saying goodbye last night. I thought it was a great thing that he could close it out at home, a storied career, Super Bowl winning quarterback. He has been, while he's had his moments where he hasn't really been the most well-liked guy in the league, you can look past all of that and go, you know what? This is done. We're officially done with this. I mean, if you saw that quarterback out there last night, you knew that was it. Like, this is a beat up, ragged quarterback that is just trying to chuck it as best he can to put on the best show he can for his last outing with the team. He threw it 46 times last night and had a QBR of 11.
Yeah, I think he threw for 138 yards.
They were like, this is Ben getting a win on Monday Night Football in his possibly his last home game. Look, it is his last home game. He is done. He is cooked. He was cooked late last year.
And it was very obvious.
Yes.
I mean, it went exactly how you would want it to. It was the theatrical Disney closing to his Pittsburgh career.
Right.
I'll tell you this, too. When Cleveland got the ball back after the Najee Harris touchdown, of which, if you want to see some of the greatest bad beats in the history of time, just go to Twitter and search Najee Harris touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to really narrow it down, Najee Harris fantasy touchdown.
Yes, there were many a championship won or lost last night on that useless touchdown.
Somebody that does what we do in another market south of here lost by 0.04 points to that Najee Harris touchdown.
Oh, no.
Tremendous.
I would have broken something if that had happened to me. Thankfully, I did end up winning one championship this year, and the rest of them were pretty well done. Midway through Sunday. So
a great prop bet would have been the Cleveland Browns are going to turn this ball over inside of the last minute to give Ben a chance to kneel it out.
Mm-hmm. And he did. And it's, it is a no doubt Hall of Fame career. And now the Pittsburgh Steelers need to start focusing on the replacement.
Something we're going to do more of in the new year, hopefully, is ask broad scale questions. And one of my favorite things to do is ask you a question that I've given you no lead up to.
Right.
So we got to take a break right now. But I have a question about Ben Roethlisberger, and I am really curious to see your answer. It's something HWA and I were talking about last night. And I'm really curious if you see this the same way I do.
Okay. Also coming up next, it is Greene on Greene. He'll give you the best picks for tonight in the sports world.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, the Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
Hey folks, DG here. I recently met with Dr. Rebecca Merrill of Asheville Smiles for an initial consultation about Invisalign, a great alternative to braces for many people like you and me. She actually has an iTero scanner that allows you to see what your smile will look like after Invisalign. You may even be able to get that straight smile in 6 months or less. Do yourself a favor, learn more today. Call 828-251-2426. That's 828-251-2426. Or visit AshevilleSmiles.com. Dicaprio.com.
Do you really want to go through another year with that awful joint pain? Don't do it. Resolve right now to get yourself moving again for 2022. It's time to call QC Kinetic, non-surgical regenerative treatments for joint pain. We're talking lasting results using natural biologics. No surgery, no pain meds, no steroids, and no downtime. This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative, restorative treatments that actually encourage your body to heal itself using highly concentrated natural biologics. Patients rave about it for hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief. Don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you your surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
What are your 2022 business goals? Simplified IT? More security? Dell Technologies has the expertise to help you. From transforming your digital workspaces to providing comprehensive end-to-end IT solutions. Get high-performance computers featuring Windows 11 Pro with powerful hardware-based security and savings up to 45% during Dell's New Year event sale. Get special financing through Dell Financial Services. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Hammering headaches? Ow. Aching muscles? Put the squeeze on your tough pain with Goody's Cool Orange. The same fast-acting, powerful Goody's powder in a great-tasting Cool Orange flavor. Beat tough pain to a pulp with Goody's Cool Orange. Also, blast your pain away with Goody's Mixed Fruit Blast. 2 flavors, tough on pain, tasty on your tongue. We made Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. All available at Dollar General.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Coffee's the closer's on. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
With football season winding down, there's going to be a lot more NBA in this segment. And I'm going to be honest with you. This has been one of the weirdest years in the NBA. We haven't talked about that much because we do so much football.
Right.
There are 3 games tonight that I genuinely think Vegas might have gotten intoxicated when they said the lines.
Okay.
If I'm worse than 2-1, it's because I have upset the fantasy gods by talking smack about the odds makers.
Okay.
The first one, the Cleveland Cavaliers are a 3-point favorite at home tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. If you haven't paid any attention to the NBA, let me tell you a little secret that you might not know. The Cleveland Cavaliers are really good, and they play unbelievable defense. Evan Mobley in the center of this defense has been everything I thought he would be coming into this draft. They play 3 7-footers almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Love's playing like 16 minutes. He does nothing but stand under the basket and rebound, go down the other end, and just stand at the 3-point line and hope the ball comes out to him. Ja Morant's been great. I don't like this team that much on the road. Give me Cleveland minus the 3. The New York Knicks are a 3-point favorite tonight at home against the god-awful Indiana Pacers. I know the record's not that bad. That team is painful to watch. It looks like a roster you would put together on NBA 2K and go, hey, look, I have a bunch of players. Yeah, but none of them can play together.
Right.
And so it doesn't really matter. Give me the Knicks minus the 3. And finally, the Phoenix Suns are a 7-point favorite at the New Orleans Pelicans. Let me give you a list of things.
Back to the Pelicans.
If the Pelicans were allowed to play 8 players, that might make sense. if we played the greatest history of prime New Orleans athletes ever, that might make sense. This roster, that makes no sense. Give me the Phoenix Suns minus the 7.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
Yeah, and you can take all those to betus.com, betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy when you make your deposit, and they will give you a 125% deposit bonus up to $2,500. Use the promo code Sportsocracy at betus.com.
But the Suns might not be at full strength. I don't care if Dan Marley starts at 2 guard for the Suns tonight. They're going to cover 7. The New Orleans Pelicans have this innate ability that I have never seen an NBA roster have. Every time they hit the floor, they look like they just met each other for the first time.
Right.
Like the ball gets tipped and they go, hey, that guy's on our team. Let's throw it to him. And I'm going to go over here now.
And just see what happens.
I watched about 8 minutes of a Pelicans game, and I genuinely felt my IQ lowering. Like, but why? Why are the 3 people standing in the same spot? This is not how basketball works.
All right, so what is your question? What is this big question that you wanted to ask me?
All right, so 2004, you had that was the year Eli Manning said, I'm not going to the Chargers.
Okay, yeah.
So you had Eli drafted at 1 by the Chargers. Phillip Rivers goes 4 to the Giants. They swap. Ben goes 11 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Who was the loser in that?
I'm going to say New York.
They won 2 Super Bowls. It can't possibly be New York. And it can't possibly be Pittsburgh.
I was going to say Pittsburgh won Super Bowl as well. So
yep, San Diego didn't. The Chargers didn't. And now here's the other side of that. Fact or fiction, Phillip Rivers was the best of those 3 quarterbacks.
Fact.
I agree with you. You got the best quarterback, and you still ended up as the loser of this deal. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason that I wanted to ask that is it leads into what we're going to open the 4 o'clock hour with. People hear the term draft bust, and they immediately go to, well, how good was he? I threw this thing out about Baker Mayfield last night as I'm watching him just be a cataclysmic disaster.
Right.
And he's wearing this brace and all the things that I don't care. All right, if you're trying to claim that he's been bad because he's been hurt, then he's been hurt for 3 years. This is kind of the same thing I said about Cam Newton with the coronavirus. If that's what sucked the talent out of his body, then he caught it 3 years ago.
Right.
A lot of people get lost into, well, Jamarcus Russell was the worst player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dispute that. But you have to look at what's around him. Phillip Rivers was the best of those 3 quarterbacks. It's very close. I don't think it's close with Eli. I think Eli is clearly the 3rd best of those 3 quarterbacks, and I don't even think it's debatable.
I agree.
But you have to look at what was around him. Phillip Rivers went into a situation that you had Drew Brees there, and then there's the clunky transition after Drew hurts his shoulder, then he goes to New Orleans. And if you add Drew in that, now you got 4 quarterbacks where there was no loser.
Right.
Except for the Chargers, because you stuck with the guy you drafted, and I could argue he was the best of the 4 of them.
Technically speaking, yes. When it came down to having to have a guy win a game for you, my choice would not be Phillip Rivers. It would be Ben.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Mm.
Think about the receivers that Phillip Rivers played with over the course of his, 17-year career?
Right.
Now realize that the receiving core that Ben has right now is the worst he's ever played with. It's probably better than anything Phillip Rivers ever had. So you got to look at the combination of that. Name the best receiver Phillip Rivers ever played with. I'll wait.
I don't know. Was it Vincent Jackson?
Probably.
Vincent Jackson was probably the best one.
Or like a year of David Boston.
I can't.
I mean, it's ugly.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's the lead up to this was, I'm not saying Baker Mayfield is the worst quarterback that's ever graced the number 1 pick.
Right.
The mixture of the situation with what you bypassed to get him makes him, in my opinion, the worst player that's ever been drafted number 1 overall.
Right. The bustiest of the NFL quarterbacks in history that is not in the Hall of Fame. We'll see. All right, we'll hash it out coming up after the Sports Center update right here on ESPN Asheville. You are in the Sportsocracy. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Boy, after a wild start to the work week weather-wise, things kind of settled down here into the midweek forecast. Got some light rain showing up by Thursday, and then another blast of cold coming in late week with more teens and 20s Thursday night and Friday night. Our low tonight, 29 degrees, mostly cloudy Wednesday, a little warmer, high 48, and then colder on Thursday with some rain showers, 45, low Thursday night, 16. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
Find comfort in this world in the stressless and make others more comfortable as well. Right now, when you donate $50 to charity, Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain will give you $200 off any stressless seating. Make a donation and get absolute comfort in return at Tyson Furniture, where beautiful homes begin.
If your New Year's resolution includes getting into shape, make step one downloading the free iHeartRadio app. Whether your goal is balancing mind and body or ramping up the intensity to beast mode, we've got the music to get you moving and keep you motivated with dozens of specially curated workout playlists, from rock pump up to yoga music. Just put your headphones on and tap playlists to get started on reaching your goals. iHeart. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio. Staples helps your business grow with custom printed sales and marketing materials. Now get 25% off custom printed labels, postcards, flyers, brochures, and more when you spend $60 or more in store only. Offer ends 1/29. See staples.com/print for details. Staples, the working and learning store.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Mayfield moving forward with surgery to repair the torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. He won't play in the regular season finale against the Bengals on Sunday. Could have the surgery as soon as this week. Mayfield under contract with Cleveland through the 2022 season, and bringing him back this fall is the right call by the Browns, in the opinion of ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
You kind of got to stay with the guy. Unless you can upgrade right now, stick with him. He's been up and down, but he has won playoff games. He has taken you there, and he was injured since week 2. Maybe you give him one more run at it with that money and maybe sign him to a longer-term deal that's smaller in money that could benefit you in other areas of your football team.
Titans outside linebacker Bud Dupree has been charged with misdemeanor assault after an altercation with an employee at a Walgreens in Nashville Sunday night. The Titans said in a statement they're aware of the situation and are gathering information. NHL Oilers superstar Connor McDavid tested positive for COVID-19. He is being retested. His status for tomorrow night's game against the Maple Leafs won't be known until game day.
It's Keith from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, hoping you're spending as much time with your wonderful family as possible. When the calendar turns to 2022, we'll be right here talking about the NFL playoff picture. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingalls Supermarkets and Wicked Weed Brewing.
It's the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Check us out at thesportsocracy.com. Subscribe to the channel. Get into the chat. It's the best way to get in immediate contact with the program here. Just like we were talking about during the break. It seems like every day, Stephen Tao decides to show up in the comment section and just start throwing shade to everybody.
And I love it.
He is taking the cue from our wonderful sponsor, Rogue Combat Club, and he is choosing violence each and every day. It does not matter who you are or what you're talking about. Steven is going to try to roast you in some way, form, or fashion.
Here for it. I am a huge fan of it.
Second hour of the program, as always, brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Check us out at Wicked Weed. Check them out at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. And is Baker Mayfield the bustiest of all the busts?
Since Jamarcus Russell, obviously, because
and I'll be honest with you, I think he's more of a bust than Jamarcus Russell.
I can't get there with you, brother.
Name the best quarterback in the draft.
In the Jamarcus Russell draft?
I'm looking dead at it. So
yeah, I can't off the top of my head remember.
It's debatable between two.
Okay.
Kevin Cobb or Drew Stanton.
All right.
But it's not like they took Jamarcus Russell and, you bypassed on all of these greats.
Right.
I could make the same case for Sam Bradford, because that's one that a lot of people felt the urge to chime in and tell me about.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said if you took the money out with Sam Bradford, you can't compare him to these other busty quarterbacks.
Right.
Was he good?
I mean, he at least hung around for a while.
He did, and there were multiple teams that wanted him because there was high side with him.
I mean, Baker Mayfield, I don't feel like you can say he is a bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell right now, because, I mean, his NFL career has been 2 years longer than Jamarcus's was.
But think about what was with Jamarcus Russell with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That Raiders team was a disaster.
Of course they were.
They had just taken Darius Hayward-Bay at 7, who, by the way, never learned how to run a route. And that wasn't not known.
Right.
He ran a 4.34 at the combine, and Al Davis went, Raider. That team was a disaster.
But what are the things that everybody says about Baker? The things that the Baker apologists say.
There are way less of those than you think there are.
He's a gamer. He's, he's shown some spurts. Okay. I mean, yeah, sure. He's had good games, like 4 or 5 in a row. At the end of last season, everybody thought he was turning the corner. They played really crappy teams, and he looked pretty decent. And then this year he gets hurt, and they were like, well, remember when he wasn't hurt? He looked okay. His QBR was going up and all that jazz. I'm not trying to defend Baker Mayfield and say that he's not a bust, because, frankly,
he's certainly a bust.
I err on that side, but
I'm a little.
I can't go more than Jamarcus.
This is one of those arguments that if you can't see that Baker is a bust, bust,
mm-hmm.
I can't help you. I just can't. If you can't look at this and go, he has 3 wins in his career over a team with a winning record,
mm-hmm.
and 2 of them were the same team. He's never beaten anybody any good.
Right.
But that's not really my point. My point is, name me the position of deficiency for the Cleveland Browns.
Quarterback.
Name the second one. I'll give you a hint. They don't have one.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say...
He took 9 sacks last night.
Mm-hmm. 9.
The line was obviously hurt. It wasn't 100% full strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a good line. Half of the sacks he took were on him.
Yeah.
He came out and had 10 incompletions in a row.
Mm-hmm.
This is with a huge talent advantage on Pittsburgh. And I've watched him do this so many times. Now, here's where it turns into the bustiest of the bust to me.
Since 2007.
Yeah, and I only did that so people would stop saying Jamarcus Russell. I think he's, as long as I've been covering the draft, he's the biggest bust I've ever seen.
Jamarcus Russell was so bad he got cut 2 years after being the number 1 pick. But it
wasn't
bad.
Talent. He was lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Lazy. Unbelievably lazy.
But I think that all has to be encapsulated into that.
And I agree with you.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that. If you put Baker Mayfield on the team Jamarcus Russell was on, they would get beat by 50 every single week. And you know how I know that? Because the talent he has now, they still lose.
Mm-hmm.
You're still a 7-9 football team getting ready to play the Cincinnati Bengals, who have enough to play for it that guess what? They're going to run you off the field.
Yeah.
And but it's going to be Case Keenum or Nick Mullins. Yeah, and watch the game plan change. That's the problem. The whole Kevin Stefanski's, because I saw a lot of this last night. The game plan is so stupid. Why is Kevin Stefanski throwing the ball so much? You do realize that part of that's on Baker, right? Because Baker has the ability to check at the line. It's funny that they've never done that with Nick Mullins. They never did it with Case Keenum. It's on Baker. Because Baker, at the end of the day, he is the perfect storm. He is a mediocre, average talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's Johnny Manziel without a drug problem. I had about 50 people say that, and I went, okay, that's from now on, I'm not going to call him anything else.
Right.
Because that's exactly what he is. He's a mediocre talent that was emboldened by going number 1. I heard a lot of Johnny Manziel. He went 22nd. He was bypassed by two teams that needed quarterbacks 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in the same boat. They gave up on Johnny Manziel in no time. This is where Baker becomes the biggest bust to me. What do you do with him? Because I threw this out there, and I kept getting the same answer repeatedly. Well, you have to pay him.
No, you don't.
You have to pay him. You have to pay him. Because the Cleveland Browns have been so bad with quarterbacks and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and that's called a loser's mentality.
Yeah.
That's what the Jaguars have done for 20 years. That's what the Jets have done for 20 years. That's what the Detroit Lions have done for 20 years.
You cannot settle in this league for just good enough, especially at the quarterback position. We talk about all the time how the quarterback position in the NFL is the most important position out of any position in sports. And it's not just a story. We're not just flapping our gums about that. It's absolutely true. You will only go as far in the NFL as your quarterback can take you.
Yeah, I mean,
and
literally
Baker
name
Mayfield,
any team in the NFL that is bad at quarterback
Mm-hmm.
and is good.
Mm-hmm.
The one line that I know is absolutely, without a doubt, going to get said is Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill with a full combination of weapons is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
With Derrick Henry in the lineup, he was the 4th highest rated quarterback in the NFL. Oh, well, but with no weapons, he was terrible. Do you realize what Baker Mayfield has right now? He has Nick Chubb, who I could argue is the 2nd best running back in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem Hunt's probably in the top 15, and I know he hasn't been healthy. I get that. But you've got the high-priced weapon in Austin Hooper. You got Donovan Peoples-Jones, who is a really underrated young receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Jarvis Landry, who's one of the best possession receivers in the NFL. Rob Johnson said it best, and this is our first one of these of the day. Where is my button?
I'm your huckleberry.
Baker's a good quarterback. He just needs a great offensive line, great run game, a great defense, and great weapons.
Yeah.
And you know what? If Jamarcus Russell had that, he'd have been the exact same thing. Because you know what Jamarcus Russell had that Baker didn't? A cannon.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't he wasn't the smartest quarterback you've ever seen, and he was lazy as the day is long. He still had talent. And the problem falls in, this is what happens when NFL franchises think they're smarter than everybody else. And if you remember, the front office that took Baker Mayfield was the combination of Elliott Wolf and Scott Pioli and all these guys that had been successful all over the league. And they thought they were smarter than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I went back and pulled my grade on them taking Baker Mayfield at 1. Do you know what I said the day they drafted him?
What's that?
You could have taken any quarterback in this draft not named Josh Rosen, and you would have been better off than the one you took.
And you weren't wrong.
Nope, I wasn't.
You were not wrong. That was the Josh Allen, Sam Darnold draft, and a lot of people will point fingers at that and go, well, how can you say Baker Mayfield's the biggest bust when the guy who went right behind him, Sam Darnold, hadn't been anything?
And here's what I will say, and I literally would. There's no way for me to ever prove this, but I mean what I'm getting ready to say. If you had put Sam Darnold in the same situation as Baker Mayfield and flipped him,
mm-hmm.
Sam goes to Cleveland, which he should have. Still maintain. I can't hit you for not taking Josh Allen because he played at Wyoming.
Right.
Can't hit you for not taking Lamar Jackson because half the league thought he was a running back.
Mm-hmm.
I can hit you for not taking Sam Darnold. And I know that sounds weird because he's been so bad. He's had the worst offensive line in the NFL on every team he's played on.
Mm-hmm.
The best receiver he's ever played with is Robbie Anderson and half a year at DJ Moore.
Right.
That's it.
If Sam Darnold had, these weapons and Kevin Stefanski eventually came in, obviously we had the Freddie Kitchens year and all of that.
Fishing.
But you think Sam's career would be different?
I think if Baker Mayfield had been drafted by the Jets, I don't think he'd be in the NFL right now. And I firmly believe that.
He might have gotten strung up by the end of it.
I genuinely think had he been drafted by the New York Jets,
mm-hmm.
he'd be out of the league right now. Because it would look like Johnny Manziel.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Manziel in Cleveland?
Oh, yeah.
He had one game.
Yep.
It was against the Jets, who had just a massive talent deficiency. There were no weapons. He looked like a kid that won a contest to start for the Browns because he ran around just like he did in college. But there's nobody open. There's no Mike Evans to bail you out just chucking one deep.
Right.
That's what Baker Mayfield does on a weekly basis. And nobody seems to care. And what has happened every year he's been in the league? He's regressed. The best you ever saw of Baker was the first 8 games he played in this league. And then he regressed. People didn't care because the record got better.
Right.
Do you realize how many bad quarterbacks have put up good records against bad schedules?
Mm-hmm. But they were in the playoffs last year, and he won a playoff game.
against the Steelers team where the quarterback's arm had fallen off.
Yep.
And everything had gone to hell in a handbasket.
There has been no other quarterback drafted in this league, and I will agree with you on this, that is in the position, has been put in a better position to succeed, but has not done it. But has not been able to pay that off.
Well,
there's been no other.
There's another layer to this. There was a rumor when Baker got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
What team am I the most connected to? Give you a hint. It's on the sweater I'm wearing right now.
The New York Jets.
There was a rumor that, if Baker falls to 3, the Jets will take Baker Mayfield. I have this from somebody that's worked in that organization for a long time. It was total smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
They were never taking Baker Mayfield, ever. If Darnold had gone 1, they were taking Josh Allen at 3. Oh, it hurt my life to say that out loud. Oh, it hurt my life to say that out loud.
As it should.
My favorite quarterback could have been on my favorite team, and I could have been happy. But no.
Nah, you'd have figured out a way to screw that up.
But there have been a series of quarterbacks like this over the years, where a team thought they were smarter than everybody else, and they took a guy that it made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you had an IQ above salad dressing and you knew how to scout this league, you look at the guy and go, the tape doesn't line up.
Yeah.
It happened with Baker. It happened with Daniel Jones.
Yep.
Coming out of Duke. It never made sense. You could spin it any way you wanted to. It never made sense.
Why is Baker Mayfield a bigger bust than Daniel Jones?
Expectation. The Cleveland Browns, put Josh Allen on the Cleveland Browns. What is that team? Super Bowl favorite.
Super Bowl favorite.
It's a Super Bowl favorite. They're the best team in the AFC, and it's not even debatable.
Yes.
Because they would have the best defense in the league. Because if you don't have Baker putting you in bad situations, all of a sudden you're not giving up points like you have before.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best running game in the league. All he has to do is turn around and hand it to Nick Chubb. And every once in a while, when you get baited in by Nick Chubb, I can hit Donovan Peoples-Jones deep.
Yep.
That is why, to me, he is the biggest bust. Because had you taken anybody else, and now you're stuck with him. Because the fan base doesn't want to regress back to being the Browns. Oh, we're the same old Browns that were the worst team in the NFL. So now you're stuck. Because there's only 3 ways this can go. Either you bring him back, the option year, I'm talking about long term.
Yeah, okay.
Either you bring him back and you pay him, or you let him walk, or you try to finagle some 3-year deal. If you do the 3-year deal, you basically just put a pin in yourself for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you sign him to a long-term extension, you're doomed. Because the team's going to regress every year that he's getting paid. And if you let him walk, what happens if he goes to, I don't know, a well-run franchise like the one they got demolished by last night? And then all of a sudden he looks good, and everybody goes, this is what the Browns do. Mm-hmm. You had a quarterback in the building. And that's what they're doing. They're sitting there going, Baker is he's just polarizing enough that if a team winds up with him on the roster and they end up good, we look like morons. It doesn't matter what anything else that happens, because they know if he hits the open market, he's not getting more than $15 million anywhere.
Right.
There's not a team in the league that would pay him that. And the Browns will have to pay him $30.
I wouldn't pay him that.
I don't disagree with you.
I'm saying, look, the only way I'm bringing Baker Mayfield back, excuse me, the only way I'm bringing Baker Mayfield back after this extension year, because we had to give it to him, the only way I'm bringing him back is if he agrees to make, $12 million a year.
He's not going to do
He's not going to do it.
And he's not going to do it because he's out doing progressive commercials, and everybody loves him. And he polarized the fan base in Cleveland.
Give him one more year like this year, and he very well may. He very well may sign up for $12 million because he knows he ain't getting it somewhere else.
And I don't think he will, because he got emboldened by going number 1. This is every year. I hear this every single year, and I could name you the player that we've done this with every single year. A question gets asked at the combine, and everybody loses their mind of, why would you ever ask somebody that? Because of this.
Yeah.
This is why. Have some of them gone too far? Absolutely. Some of them have gone way too far with the questions they ask. They want to see what your personality is like. Because now Baker Mayfield is this sweet combination of you think you're one thing, you're not. The fan base thinks you're one thing, you're not. We know that. But we also know that if everything went sideways and you wound up on a good team with a bunch of weapons and you had to take that little prove-it deal, it could come back to burn us. So there's really not a winning procedure here.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're, if you feel like playing the draft lottery with me, because that has Sam Howell written all over it to me.
I'm not sure I'm down the path with you of he is the biggest bust. I get that he has the
one
most.
That's bigger.
Well, I mean, there's been Josh Rosen, who didn't even make it with his own team. Exactly.
They gave up in a year.
Exactly.
You got a 2 a year later.
He was
and
that
you drafted
bad.
Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. You can't put him in that level of bust. You got a 2 for him a year later, and it was over. You didn't pay him squat.
RG3. RG3.
Hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He gets hurt. He was the rookie of the year.
I get it.
He was the best young quarterback in this league.
Mm-hmm.
1 year into this league, we looked at him and went, that kid's going to change the way the quarterback position's played. In a draft class that had Andrew Luck in it, and then he got hurt.
Yep.
I mean, I can give you a slew of guys that got hurt. But, I mean, if you're wanting to go down that rabbit hole, then nobody has a prayer.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Anybody that thought Mitch Trubisky was going to be the savior of that franchise was legally intoxicated every time they said it out loud.
Yeah, but he was drafted number 2 overall, and you have to look at that and go, this guy's now making $5 million a year as the backup for the Bills.
Who was the best receiver ever threw to?
Allen Robinson.
Who was 2? There you go.
The dude. Jakeem Grant or something. I don't know.
Jakeem Grant went on the team.
I don't know.
It would have been half a year of Darnell Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the Trubisky thing a ton of times. And I got news for you. Trubisky got a second deal. There are a lot of these guys that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Trubisky was not a terrible quarterback. He was put in a terrible situation.
Blake Bortles
went to an AFC championship game, and I don't know why I have to keep saying that out loud, but I've heard Blake Bortles about 500 times.
Mm-hmm.
He went to an AFC championship game. He was playing for the most unbelievably dysfunctional franchise in sports.
I mean, those were the guys just off the top that were drafted 1 through 3 that you can look back on and go, yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that. I mean, you can go further than that down the line. I mean, if you want to get into the Jake Lockers and guys that Daniel
Christian
Jones,
Ponder.
Christian Ponder at 12. Yeah,
Christian Ponder's one I looked at and went, I don't know what you looked at, but you shouldn't be allowed to look at it anymore.
I mean, you had 2 in the same year with Josh Rosen and not Josh Rosen, with Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins. Like Daniel Jones doesn't have much of a future.
Arm talent, though. I can forgive you for falling in love with the arm talent because there's not many people that can throw a football like that.
Right.
There's just not. And I got news for you. There's a guy in this draft class that people are going to fall in love with. And I will literally stake my reputation the kid's going to be a bust.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you who that is after this break.
Right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, after a wild start to the work week weather-wise, things kind of settle down here into the midweek forecast. Got some light rain showing up by Thursday, and then another blast of cold coming in late week with more teens and 20s Thursday night and Friday night. Our low tonight, 29 degrees, mostly cloudy Wednesday, a little warmer, high 48, and then colder on Thursday with some rain showers, 45, low Thursday night, 16. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
240 westbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic is stop and go. 40 westbound is crawling between Patton Cove Road and 240 Charlotte Highway. Haywood County 40 westbound slow between Vines Creek Road and Harmondin Road. On Patton Avenue, north and southbound, approaching New Leicester Highway, delays. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Sweeten Creek Road northbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, a few light delays. A large portion of the Blue Ridge Parkway currently closed. The commuter stretch of the Blue Ridge Parkway appears to be open between Bavard Road and Hendersonville Road. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
Find comfort in this world in the stressless and make others more comfortable as well. Right now, when you donate $50 to charity, Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain will give you $200 off any stressless seating. Make a donation and get absolute comfort in return at Tyson Furniture, where beautiful homes begin.
Every small business owner's most important New Year's resolution is to attract more customers. Let a radio ad from iHeart Ad Builder reach the customers that will make 2022 a successful year. iHeartAdBuilder.com is the fast, affordable way to create a customized ad for your business. Just answer a few questions and get your commercial on the air. Start 2022 off right and put the power of radio to work for your business at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
The Lowe's Home Team came back for a second season focusing on making homes and hometowns better for all. With the help of their general manager, Drew Brees, and players like Najee Harris and Justin Fields, they tackled community projects in hometowns, while also inviting DIYers to join the Lowe's Home Team by taking on DIY projects of their own. Select pros rounded out the 2021 Lowe's Home Team. Learn more about the Lowe's Home Team at lowes.com/hometeam.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg, and cheese or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
So in the last 14 years, who is the biggest bust in the NFL draft? And Jeremy says it's Baker Mayfield. He's had all of the advantages and not been able to do anything with it. Last night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, we saw a god-awful quarterback. And you can keep saying, oh, he's hurt. It doesn't matter.
Then he's been hurt for 3 years.
Right. First off, he shouldn't be playing. I said that, 6-7 weeks ago? He should not be playing right now. They should have just shelved him, made him get the surgery, whatever. Let's play Case Keenum. Let's see if he can come back for a fourth year with, fully healthy, fully rehabilitated, all this stuff. No, now you've waited.
And I'm going to be honest with you. If you'd done that, you'd be in the playoffs. If you had played Case Keenum from the time he got hurt, there are at least 3 games that they had played that they would have won that they lost. They would have beaten the Raiders. They would have won last night. Because I don't think Case Keenum would have been allowed to throw the ball 567 times, whatever it was Baker Mayfield did.
I think it was 38.
I think they would have looked at Nick Chubb and gone, maybe we should do that. The guy that's averaging 7 yards a carry, maybe we should hand it to him more.
See, that's the thing that killed me the most about last night was why is Baker Mayfield throwing it 38 times and completing 14 passes when you have Nick Chubb who has run the ball, what do you have, 15 carries?
I believe that's right.
If that.
As a matter of fact, I think he had less than that.
And all night long, all I kept hearing, or all I kept seeing on social media was Kevin Stefanski, so stupid. No, he's not stupid, but last night's game plan, he had 12, by the way. He had 12 carries last night. Last night's game plan was not good at all.
No.
And
I think
Baker
more of it
Mayfield,
falls on Baker than people want to say.
Oh, agreed.
Because I don't think I don't think Case Keenum or Nick Mullins have the ability to go, 7 in the box. Maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I want to just chuck one up at Donovan Peoples-Jones the back of his head.
And if anybody's still out there wanting to say, Ben Roethlisberger, he can still do it. We've been talking about how bad Baker Mayfield was last night. He was still better than Ben. His QBR was 14. Ben's was 11.
Yeah, I mean, Ben did exactly what he was asked to do. Keep it within himself.
Yep.
And I will tell you this. I've been doing this. The NFL draft is kind of my thing.
Yep.
Every year I look at quarterback prospects and I put them into categories. There are 2 in this draft class. You can do it. You ain't going to like how it ends.
Right.
Malik Willis from Liberty is 1. He couldn't see the field at Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
oh, but he's got a big arm and he's mobile and I don't care. The NFL game speeds up. And if you think he's going to go into the league and get better, I have a bridge to sell you. And the other one is who we're going to end the show talking about.
Okay.
It's Matt Corral.
That's the bust?
Matt Corral will be a busty bust, bust.
Okay.
What does he do well?
I
spent some of our break, some of our little break off, I spent watching film.
Right.
You know what I discovered about Matt Corral very quickly?
What's that?
Everything that he produced at Ole Miss came from Jeff Lebby and Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a big arm. He's mobile-ish.
Right.
He doesn't do anything overly well.
I mean, he makes a lot out of broken plays.
Okay, name me the quarterback that's ever made a living doing that.
Patrick Mahomes.
Who has a howitzer arm. I mean, has an absolute howitzer and has Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce.
Agreed.
Yeah, if Pat Mahomes gets abducted by space aliens and Matt Corral's the next quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, he's got a chance to succeed.
Right.
I don't think that's how that's going to go.
No, probably not. All right, so that's your I'm mad today. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, it's a thing. And I am committed to. I am not going to say wordy dirds on FCC air.
We appreciate that.
I got incensed at some things I saw over the New Year's holiday.
Yeah, please don't do that. We already went through our biggest landmine I think that we'll ever have.
Yeah,
I don't need that to happen here on this show.
None of those things. It's all bad. Don't do it. It's not good.
All right, let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Oh, I'm so happy my year has started off so wonderfully because a story that I was once told is not weird enough to include in the weird news. It only got weirder, and now it qualifies.
I'm just going to throw this out here. He's been wanting to tell this story for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been about a month since I found the story of a woman who is a social media influencer. We all know how much Jeremy loves that phrase. Stephanie Matto is her name. She's 31 years old. She's from Connecticut, and she's a very attractive woman. Very attractive woman, and we all know dudes they're thirsty. They're thirsty and they will spend money on just about everything. Well, she found out once she could start making a living and a really good living. I mean, I'm not talking like sportsocracy money here. I'm talking about like big old biggins. She made 37,000 pounds a week selling souvenirs to her fans. And those souvenirs came in many different sizes and shapes and odors. One of them being her flatulence. She would flatulate in a jar, seal it up, and sold them on the internet and made 37,000 pounds a week. She would sell these for $1,000 a jar. $1,000 per jar. She made so much money doing this that she put herself in the hospital for it. That's right. She had to be rushed to the hospital when she thought she was having a heart attack. She was experiencing shooting pains in her chest, and she thought, oh no, I'm 31 years old. I've got my life all ahead of me, and I am having a heart attack. She goes in to the ER. The doctors performed all these blood tests. They hook her up to the EKG because this is a beautiful woman. She's really in shape. How could she possibly be having a heart attack right now? Well, they found out that she was doing a little too much manufacturing of her product. Her diet had driven her to a borderline heart attack stage. She was consuming so much beans, eggs, and banana protein shakes per day to produce what she needed to put into the jar that she put herself in the hospital. Searching. She's just searching for that paper, man. $1,000 a jar. Yeah, it sounded like a good idea. And then what'd it get you? Big ol' bills from the hospital. Good Lord.
People are weird.
People are very weird.
People are weird, and I don't understand them. And I'm going to be honest with you. Ever since you told me this story, I look at people in public and go, "You could be one of those people." And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that we shop at the same stores. I don't like that I bumped into you at the gas station because you could be one of those weird people.
You shop at the same stores? Those are the Target people? I would think that's a Walmart people thing.
Then you shop at the same stores with these.
There you go. There you go. Target again, too bougie. I want to be out there with my people.
And if I've ever needed to confirm why I shop at Target, bingo.
Just so you don't run into me.
A woman returned on a flight home from Europe. She was gone for the Christmas holiday.
Mm-hmm.
She lives in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And she had spent her holiday in Paris and many other places in Europe. And she had bought a slew of souvenirs and Christmas presents and gifts for her family. Well, when she got off the plane, and it was an Air France flight, just so you know. It was booked through Delta Airlines, but it was operated by Air France. She got off the plane. She got her luggage. Luggage felt exactly like it did before she got on the plane. So she wheels it to her car, and she drives it to her home in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Well, when she got home, she discovered that the gifts that she had put in her luggage were no longer there.
Uh-oh.
They had been replaced by an old T-shirt, a shaving cream bottle, and prepackaged plastic bags of dog food that were meant to replicate the weight of the things that had been stolen. Here's what I don't understand. Who could possibly have done this? So, according to this woman, her name's Gina Sheldon, by the way, she put her bag on the conveyor belt, and she knew what was in it. She had apparently looked for something in the bag and seen all of the things when she put it on the conveyor belt.
Okay.
So she puts it on the conveyor belt, sends it into the little tomb of doom and despair, as I've always called it. I don't know what happens through there, and I don't want to know.
Right.
But I will tell you this. When I leave, get home, I wash every article of clothing before it goes on my body.
Who's going through my stuff? Yeah.
It's always freaked me out. There's some guy in there that's ordering weird stuff off the interwebs, and I don't know. I don't want to.
So somebody stole the valuable things out of her bag.
Somebody stole all of the things in her bag and replaced it with dog food. I had just a series of questions. One, how did the person get dog food into the conveyor? Like, did you come planning to steal stuff from people? Like,
Absolutely.
I'm going to find things that weigh exactly 4 Ziploc baggies full of dog food.
Absolutely.
You answered that way too quickly.
That's how that would go down.
See,
it's the guys who are lugging the bags and putting them on the conveyor belts. I mean, that's to me, that's the prime suspect here. I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody. I'm just saying, if you wanted to do it, I've always had that concern. Like, man, I got some stuff in my suitcase, and I don't want it to go missing, and I'm just going to send it through this little window, and it's supposed to show up where I'm going to go somehow.
See, in my brain, it's a lot funnier that Dale shows up for his shift at Delta with a big bag of Alpo. Why do you have a big bag of dog food? Mind your business. That's why.
Look, whoever it is loves Indiana Jones, and they know that they have to have some kind of a decoy to swap out so the boulder doesn't come down.
Is that a reference to the you chose poorly thing?
The you chose poorly thing. Indiana Jones, it was a movie with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I got that much.
And he had to take the stone or whatever it was. Nope. You've never seen the movie.
Lost me. He lost me.
It was a trigger.
He had to replace it with dog food?
No, he had to find something that weighed the same so it wouldn't trigger the booby trap to swap them out. And then he did, and it worked. And then about 2 seconds later, it went, nope, you were off by an ounce, and here comes the boulder chasing you.
Yeah, you have already bored me of this movie just explaining one scene of it.
Indiana Jones is one of the greatest movie franchises of all time, and you
the only one I ever saw was Crystal Skull, and it was terrible.
Of course it was terrible.
Just horrid.
You have to see the originals. They're better.
They were made in the 80s. I'm good.
Indiana Jones, Beatles, don't care.
Yeah,
if it's old, it sucks.
No, it's just I wasn't around for it. Like, you know what I was doing when the rest of you were watching Indiana Jones? Playing with my Legos, because I was like 4.
Did they allow you to have Legos, or did you have to play with the rocks in their driveway and call them Legos?
Oh, no, I had Legos. I mean, not many, because I thought Legos were stupid. But
yeah.
All Legos were was a really inconvenient thing to step on.
Oh, you ain't telling me nothing.
I think I had one box of Legos in my entire life. And I would just put them together and go, what am I supposed to do with this now?
I hated Lego so much. My kids love them to death, and
I don't get
I have not had a single day in my life since my kids were 5 years old where I didn't step on Legos, and I hate those little things. I just want to melt them down. And
Legos are the Beatles of toys. I just don't get it. I don't get why you liked this. I don't understand it.
We need to move on. Anyway, so you're just baffled, like you have no idea who could have done this. Of course, it's the baggage carrier guys.
Yeah, but Michael, it's not even really who did it. It's how did you get dog food in there? Like, did you carry it in your jacket?
In your backpack? I don't know.
I got 7 bags of dog food.
I mean, you'd have to imagine those guys would have to go through security, so it's got to be something that's not going to set off any alarms or anything like that. And I'm just carrying. I had to pick up some dog food on my way to work, and then we'll leave it in my car. I have no idea what the excuse would be. Hey, Jimmy, why do you got 7 bags of dog food in your backpack? Mind your own business. I got 7 dogs at home. I don't know.
But are they here? Like, you carry their food with you, or are you afraid they're going to grift it from you?
Hey, don't do crimes.
Don't do crimes.
It's the first one of 2022. All right, it is time for Jeremy to make you some more money than he already does each and every day. He gives you the Green on Green picks in the 3 o'clock hour, and now brand new today here in the Sportsocracy, 4 o'clock hour each and every day. Going into the last break, he is going to give you his best picks of the night and how he would bet it if he started off with a $500 bankroll. This is how this works, right? You got a $500 bankroll. You're going to tell people every day how you should bet, and your goal is to what? By the end of the year, get to $5,000?
That's my objective, yes.
Okay, so he's got a whole year to 10 times his $500 bankroll. It's time. I got 5 on it. All right, Jeremy, what is the play or the multiple plays for tonight?
Tonight is a college basketball night.
Okay.
The NBA games, I gave you those at the end of the 3 o'clock hour. They're all good. And yeah, I'm gonna put a 50 spot. I'm gonna put a 50 spot on the Phoenix Suns minus the 7.
Okay.
But then I've got 2 $25 spots. And we're gonna try to double up the money tonight.
Okay.
The first one, LSU is a 2-point favorite at home against Kentucky. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Kentucky's good. They're good as good. I saw what they did to Carolina. The only thing is that Carolina and LSU are not the same team. And I don't love this Kentucky team on the road. I'm throwing 25 at LSU minus the 2. And then you can call this a gut because I genuinely think the ACC is dreadfully bad.
Okay.
Tonight, Duke takes on Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that line is? I'm going to level with you. I didn't care what the number was.
15.
It's 18.5.
Really?
I'm putting 25 on Duke. The ACC is historically bad at basketball. Do you know who the 4 best teams in the ACC are right now?
Who are they?
Joe Leonardo just put out his newest bracketology.
Mm-hmm.
5 ACC teams make the tournament.
Yikes.
5.
I can't remember the last time we didn't have 8 in the discussion.
Duke is a 1, obviously. Carolina makes it as, I believe, an 8 seed.
Okay.
Then you have Virginia Tech, Wake Forest. And now that I've said it, I don't remember who the 5th team is. It was NC State, and then they lost.
Right.
I'm blanking on who the 5th ACC team is. It's unbelievable how bad this conference is because Virginia, nowhere near what you thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere near what you thought they would be. Florida State, same thing. Not even in the ballpark. Now, I need you to understand that this Georgia Tech team is one of the worst in this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Duke might beat them by 40 tonight. Just solely because they hadn't played in forever. I had to double check that this game wasn't postponed. Because Duke, I feel like hadn't played in a month.
Right.
They had coronavirus sweep through the program, so I had to actually double check this game was going to happen.
All right, so you got Duke minus the 18.5 tonight against Georgia Tech. You're taking LSU minus the 2.
Minus the 2. I think they're going outright. I think they're going to win outright, and I think they're going to win convincingly. That LSU team is good. That LSU team is, as a matter of fact, they're really good.
All right, LSU minus the 2 at home against Kentucky, and then, of course, in the NBA, you're taking the Phoenix Suns minus the 7.
Which is that's the free space on the wheel. Hey, we just want to give you money, and you should go to betus.com. Use promo code SPORTSOCRACY. They'll give you 125% of your initial deposit, and you can take those free doubloons that you get for your initial deposit, put them on the Phoenix Suns tonight. Then guess what? You get twice as much free money.
And you can take the journey with Jeremy here. I got 5 on it every day right here on ESPN Asheville. In the Sportsocracy, he's going to try to take $500, fake dollars, and turn it into $5,000 by the end of this calendar year.
That's the objective.
Okay.
And we'll keep track of it every day. But in this, the objective of this is that I'm going to take all of the games that I was never able to get into that segment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because there are times, just like LSU, I've watched LSU, I've watched Kentucky. I don't really have a great rationale of why it is that I'm taking LSU.
Yep.
It's eyeball test.
Yep. Lots of talk over the weekend about the college football playoff. Obviously, we had 2 blowouts in the semifinal games. Georgia taking care of Michigan, and Cincinnati did what we all thought they were going to do. They showed up against Alabama and could not get into the end zone.
No, and that's about as talented of a group of 5 team as you'll ever see.
No question.
Sauce Gardner is going to be a first-round pick, top 15 most likely. There's actually when we get to corners, there is a spicy that comes with Mr. Gardner.
Okay.
You got Alec Pierce, the wide receiver, Jerome Ford, the running back. They have probably 4 or 5 guys that are going to go day 1, day 2, very beginning of day 3. Alec Pierce could go at the back end of the first round. I don't think he's going to go that. It's more likely he goes beginning of the second. Jerome Ford will go in the third. And that's a talented team. And Alabama just categorically embarrassed them.
But the one thing that I could not I still can't really wrap my head around is this argument that people are getting into of the fact that the semifinal games were so boring and blowouts proves why we need a 12-team playoff. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, this week proved we need a playoff to make. Has nothing to do with the quality of the games.
But why?
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Oh, okay. It just does not make sense to me that if the semifinal games are this wonky, what do you think is going to happen when you match up Alabama against the 8 seed?
No, but I don't think anybody with an IQ above salad dressing thinks that these games are going to be historically better.
Right.
They're going to be better than what you're getting. How many games did you watch that were not playoff games? How many bowl games did you watch?
Oh, it was only like 4 or 5.
And total number of minutes you watched?
Well, I watched... I would probably say an entire game, maybe a game and a half, total minutes.
They were brutal.
They were.
The Rose Bowl was, it was fun to watch. But, you're watching Jackson Smith and Jigba going, are they forgetting he's on the field? Right. He's the only receiver on the team.
Right. I watched way more of that South Carolina, North Carolina game than I wanted to.
I did too, sitting right here. And I love Duke's mayonnaise, but I don't ever need to see it poured on another human for the rest of my life.
No, I had my fill of that as well. The bowls were what they were. Like I said, I don't feel like the bowls are going to get big audiences anyway. As regionalized of a sport as college football has become, if your team's not in it, it's nothing really to watch it for unless there's something on the line.
And that's the problem. That's the problem, is that you had a series of games. I watched the Fiesta Bowl, probably 70% of it, and it was an entertaining game.
Right.
The stands were 70% filled, and you're just looking at it going, this doesn't feel like a big game. And that was one of the arguments that people always made with going to a playoff, is that you're going to devalue these bowls. Well, you're right. So now you have to recoup that somehow. And there's only one way to do it. The only way to do this is to add in games where there's actual value. That's it. Baylor Ole Miss. That game has been talked about for all the wrong reasons. It was an entertaining game. There wasn't a ton of offense. Baylor's defense was really good. Matt Corral unfortunately got hurt in the second quarter. And it's been talked about for all the wrong reasons. Nobody cared about the game. And that's the part of this that I never thought would happen. I never thought the New Year's Six would get completely devalued. And now, outside of the playoff games, nobody cares.
Nope.
19 million people watched last year's playoff games. You're right about 16 million this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard the argument of, it's because it was on New Year's Eve. No, it's because it was impossible to watch. You knew within 5 minutes Georgia was going to blow Michigan's doors off.
Yes, you did.
You knew before the Alabama-Cincinnati game started how that was going to go.
Yep.
And the first drive told you everything you needed to know. I posted it on Twitter as soon as it happened.
Mm-hmm.
They set a pace of you do not belong here, and physically you can't contend with us.
Yep.
And they didn't. That's why the numbers went down. It has nothing to do with when the games happen. Think about this. Think about all the people that consume this show and all the people we talk to. Oh, the game was at 7 o'clock on New Year's Eve. Vast majority of people that care, you'd have found a way to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Could it have been you're watching it at a bar over somebody's shoulder? Maybe. Watching it on your phone? If this was a Georgia-Oklahoma level game, you'd have watched it. It wasn't. It wasn't.
I mean, I watched it because I'm a fan of the team. If I wasn't a fan of the team, I would have given up on that game at halftime. I would have just went on to do something else. But instead, I quite enjoyed the thorough beatdown that Georgia gave to Michigan. It's very well maybe the last time that they get to do that this year. Because now we get the rematch. Now we get Nick Saban going up against Kirby Smart. And yes, the game is coming up next Monday. We will have all of the breakdowns and the storylines coming to you right here on ESPN Asheville in the run-up to that game. Jeremy is mad. And he's going to tell us why.
I'm been off for 2 weeks, mad.
Oh, I don't know if we got time for this, but let's go to the break now.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic stop and go. Near Swannanoa, 40 westbound crawling between Patton Cove Road and 240 Charlotte Highway. Haywood County, 40 westbound slow between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by T.P. Howard Plumbing.
Hey, this is Josh Howard with T.P. Howard's Plumbing. There's nothing worse than a plumbing emergency or a utility emergency. Our underground utility division is hiring a pipe foreman. Vehicle, full benefits included. Call T.P. Howard's Plumbing at 628-1369. That's 628-1369.
Do you really want to go through another year with that awful joint pain? Don't do it. Resolve right now to get yourself moving again for 2022. It's time to call QC Kinetic, non-surgical regenerative treatments for joint pain. We're talking lasting results using natural biologics. No surgery, no pain meds, no steroids, and no downtime. This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative restorative treatments that actually encourage your body to heal itself using highly concentrated natural biologics. Patients rave about it for hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief. Don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you your surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
At Ingles, we know the ever-present struggle of, what am I going to make for dinner this week? That's why we started the Ingles Table. It's all waiting for you at ingles-markets.com. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
This week at Ingles, 50-ounce Hanover cut green beans, 2 for $4. Select sizes and varieties Starbucks bag or K-Cup coffee, $6.98 each. And select Gain laundry detergent or flings, $8.98 each. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Find comfort in this world in the stressless and make others more comfortable as well. Right now, when you donate $50 to charity, Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain will give you $200 off any stressless seating. Make a donation and get absolute comfort in return at Tyson Furniture, where beautiful homes begin.
I know you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal.
Jen's manicure spot needs an extra pair of hands.
Who's at the front desk right now?
Someone who's handy with everything from nail files to spreadsheet files.
Deidre's not coming in today, but we have that whole bachelorette party.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tonight, it's the premiere of 2 new comedies on NBC.
First, the comedy critics are calling the next The Office.
American Auto, starring SNL's Anna Gasteyer.
What are you doing to my car?
I'm stealing your hubcaps. It's fine. I'm the new CEO.
Then it's Grand Crew.
The comedy critics rave is this generation's Friends.
I'm going to ask Alicia to marry me.
What? Seriously, dude? I've had almond milk in my fridge longer than you've been with Alicia.
American Auto and Grand Crew.
Premiere tonight on NBC.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Doubled IPA, Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
Dirty perky shark back flat.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
You know, Twitter is often a place where I go to burn 5 or 10 minutes. Very rarely do I ever let it affect me to the point of it takes up a whole night. Over our little Christmas, New Year's Eve break, I had one of those, and it was New Year's night. Because College Game Day sets up at the Rose Bowl and they preview the games. And Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit and Reese
Witherspoon. Yeah.
Nope, wrong one.
Davis.
Reese Davis, thank you. They set up, they do all the things, and they do a great show, as they often do. But during the show, Kirk Herbstreit said something that drew the ire of just slew of blue check marks all over Twitter. And basically what he said was that players today just don't care as much about the school and about football as they used to. He wound up having to give an apology for this and a clarification to say what he was trying to say. At the end of the day, it's the truth. And you know how I know that? Because years ago, there would have never been a slew of opt-outs from the Rose Bowl. There's only one way to fix this. And everything went cattywampus because Matt Corral got hurt in the Sugar Bowl. At the end of the day, he could have gotten hurt getting out of the bathtub. There are a slew of things he could have done that would have led to him getting hurt. At the end of the day, you play a game where you put on a helmet and pads and collide into people at full speed. Guess what happens in that? Every once in a while, people get hurt. But here's what nobody seems to want to talk about. These bowl games have been devalued to a point that the sponsor dollars have got to start hurting. There are a slew of universities. You can't contend without bowl money. This is one of the biggest checks your athletic department gets all year long. And so if you take that away, what's going to happen? The opportunities are going to go away. This is one of those times that people have gotten in their feelings about the poor, mishandled athlete, where all these universities make so much money on these non-paid athletes. Well, here's the thing. There are about 10% of college athletes, and I'm probably being on the high side of that actually make money for their institutions. If you want to say that this system is abusing the players, that's fine. The vast majority of these players do not earn the amount that the scholarship that they get is worth. They don't. That's the way it works. High-end athletes do. There's not a lot of those. And now you've got opt-outs and all of these things. At some point, we have to come to a point where somebody is allowed to talk to people in the know and hear things they're hearing from coaches without every blue check mark getting mad about it. Because here's the thing. I hear the same thing. That there are a lot of coaches that look at their guys and go, since this name, image, and likeness thing happened, they care a lot more about the paycheck than they do about the play. That's not a spicy hot take. It's not a shot at anybody. It's the way things work. If your job stopped paying you, you would stop showing up. If you've been working a job that didn't pay you that all of a sudden did, now you have a whole new thing to worry about that you didn't have to worry about anymore. I'm not saying I agree with him or don't. I'm saying I've heard a lot of the same things, and the fact that he got condemned for what he said is absolute lunacy. I'm mad.
Of course he got condemned for what he said because you look at all these games where there was heart involved in the game. The Kentucky game got highlighted a lot with the dude crying at the end of the game, scoring the winning touchdown. I get it. But no, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
And we'll talk about this later in the week. It was just something I had to get out. Nobody would come to Kirk Herbstreit's defense. But you know what they all do behind closed doors and in text messages? Agree with him.
Join us back here tomorrow at 3 on ESPN Asheville. And stick around after tomorrow's show for the very first uncensored third hour of the Sportsocracy.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, after a wild start to the work week weather-wise, things kind of settled down here into the midweek forecast. Got some light rain showing up by Thursday, and then another blast of cold coming in late week with more teens and 20s Thursday night and Friday night. Our low tonight, 29 degrees, mostly cloudy Wednesday, a little warmer, high 48, and then colder on Thursday with some rain showers, 45, low Thursday night, 16. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
Find comfort in this world in the stressless and make others more comfortable as well. Right now, when you donate $50 to charity, Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain will give you $200 off any stressless seating. Make a donation and get absolute comfort in return at Tyson Furniture, where beautiful homes begin.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 eastbound on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic stop and go. Near Swannanoa, 40 westbound crawling between Patton Cove Road and 240 Charlotte Highway. Haywood County, 40 westbound slow between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow.
This report is sponsored by TP Howard Plumbing.